Hi everybody, my name is John of JWH Millinery and welcome back to my channel. So by the time this video goes up, we've probably just had one of the most talked about millinery events of the entire year, and that is Ladies' Day at Ascot. Now, Ladies' Day at Ascot is just known for its over-the-top creations, the most beautiful creations, stunning ladies, lots of champagne and lots of horse racing. More often than not, a lot of ladies that go to Ascot want something that's going to stand out, something that's going to make them different, something that's not really been seen before. But not all ladies want this sort of headwear. So in this tutorial, we are going to be making a piece which is still different, still unique, but still very understated, very elegant, and not over the top, but still has a lot of uniqueness. And this is the piece in question. Now, this is made with bias Sinamay, which has been cut, folded, steamed, and pressed into place, and then woven to make like a lattice effect. Now, I didn't want it a regular lattice. I wanted it higgledy-piggledy and you know, different lengths, just to give it a bit of extra, just something different. And obviously, like everything, you know, I threw a ton load of crystals on, and I just used two different shades of the blue, which obviously complemented the colours in the piece. Now, this is a continuation of the last video, so if you haven't yet seen that video, I will link it somewhere at the top here. We made the bias strips for that, and we had a lot left over, so I was thinking, what can we do with that? And this is the piece that we made. So if you want to see how this was made, keep on watching. So for this tutorial, you're going to need the following: navy Sinamay, light blue Sinamay, aqua Sinamay, 3mm aquamarine Swarovski crystals, 3mm sapphire Swarovski crystals, and you're going to need some millinery elastic. The items we used in this tutorial were hat block FBS01 saucer block from Hat Blocks Direct and some blocking pins. To make the Sinamay strips, first of all you're going to fold the Sinamay on the bias and measure 4 times the width of your final width of the strips that you want. Use regular pins and pin your Sinamay down, and just use your hands to put a crease into the Sinamay. Fold this over on itself again and make sure that the width is the same width that you want, and pin and press this into shape again. Repeat this process one last time, remove the pins and unfold. Then you want to take your Sinamay scissors and cut along the crease lines to make individual Sinamay strips. Fold the Sinamay strips into half lengthways and press down. Open this up and fold each of the outer edges into the centre crease, using your fingers again to give that crease on the outer edges. Then you want to bring each of the outer edges together to form the bias Sinamay strips, and once again using your hands and the heat from your hands, this will keep the creases into place. First of all, cover your block with clingfilm, and then cut the Sinamay strips into different lengths, not too wild, not too extreme lengths, but just ensuring that they do indeed cover the recessed bit of the block and a little bit further. Now, taking the Sinamay strips, you want to weave the Sinamay over the block. Now, this is best to lay out the strips in one direction first, pin these into place, and weave the strips in the other direction, pinning at either end to secure all the Sinamay strips into place. If you need to, use some steam to assist with any flyaway Sinamay. I just put a bit of a blast on it and it made the Sinamay droop a little. And just keep going till the recessed section of the block is fully covered. Once you've woven your strips together, take the pins out and have the topper part of the block ready to use. And basically this means just make sure it's covered in cling film. Apply a liberal amount of steam to the middle section and immediately put the topper into place. Press this down hard to form the shape and leave this to dry if you can. If you don't, that's not a problem, it's still going to retain the shape. Then, using a clean tea towel or even some calico, steam the strips down around the edge of the recessed part of the block. This will also make sure that the Sinamay kind of sticks together a little as well, which will help you later on. Once it's steamed and ironed, pin this down and leave it to dry. Once it's dry, take off the block, and what you're going to need to do is turn it back on itself so the dome is risen up so it looks like an actual hat, and just steam the outer bits down so it's nice and flat. Once it's nice and flat and it's dry and you can carry on the last strip on each side, you're going to need to put a stitch into each section of the strips that overlap. And you won't need to do this on the outside strips, but for extra security you could do every overlapping piece of Sinamay. I just thought the centre bit had a lot of work to it, so it was already rigid. I didn't need to do that, but if you feel like you need to, this is the time when you're going to have to do that. Now we're going to apply the Swarovski crystals, and the glue I'm using is a glue called Apple glue, which I believe is used mainly for crafting and to ensure that it's really stuck together, and it actually does dry clear, so it's perfect for using with individual crystals. So make small dots of glue on the full length of just random strips and leave the glue to get slightly tacky, and then apply a crystal to each glue dot. Then just leave this to dry before moving on to the next step. And then finally, make 4 small loops using the millinery elastic and sew these into the 4 corners of the hat. This will allow the wearer to wear the hat however they want, as all they will need to do is just pin into place with the hairpins using the loops. So there you go, Ascot ready. Very quick, very easy, doesn't take a lot of time, doesn't take a lot of effort, and doesn't take a lot of equipment. Now if you did like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe, the button is down there below. And if you want to get the notifications when I upload videos, just hit that little bell icon down at the bottom. Make sure you follow me on normal social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And I look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial.